Okay, so welcome to the last and final unit, which is the e-business strategy. E-business strategy. So we want to look at this final unit, which is our unit 7 or section 7, e-business strategy. And the question we'll be asking ourselves is, how does e-business strategy differ from the traditional business strategy? And how should we integrate e-business strategy with the existing business and information system strategy? And how should we evaluate our investment priority and returns from e-business? So, developing an e-business strategy requires combining our existing approaches to business strategy and development, and also the existing approaches to information system strategy development. And we are also saying that innovative technique for competitive advantage is also needed. Innovative technique for competitive advantage is also needed. So the question we ask ourselves is, what is a strategy? A strategy, by definition, is definition of the future direction and the action of a company, defined as approach to achieve specific objective. So we talk about a strategy and we are referring to the future direction. Where do you want to see ourselves? And the action of the company, defined as approach to achieve specific objective. So whatever strategy we choose, the focus is to achieve a certain objective. According to Johnson and Scholes, they also define strategy as the direction and scope of an organization over a long term. Then according to Lynch, Lynch also defines strategy as an organization's sense of purpose, what they live for, their sense of purpose. So all these things are all basic definitions or understanding of how strategy is defined. A strategy in a broader sense is a broad-based formula for how a business is going to accomplish its mission, what its goals should be, and what plans and policies will be needed to carry out these goals. Other alternate definition of strategy is how we will meet our objective, how an organization will meet its objective, and also set allocation for resources to meet our goals, how we can allocate various limited resources that we have to meet our intended goals. Then select preferred strategic options to compete within a market. Then also provide a long-term plan for the development of the organization. So all these are simple definitions of what a strategy is. Now, let's look at the types of strategies that we have. According to Johnson and Scholes, which we read their definition of a strategy, organizations have different levels, okay? Every organization has different levels of strategies. We have strategies that are at the corporate level. So we call the corporate strategy. That is the overall purpose and the scope of the entire organization. Number 2, we have the business unit strategy. It also defines how an organization will compete in a particular market, how an organization will compete in a particular market. Then also we have operational strategy. That also defines how the corporate and the business unit strategies will be achieved. Okay, how the corporate and the business units, how their strategies will have to be achieved. Then we have the functional strategies. They also describe how the corporate and the business units strategies will operationalize in different functional areas or business processes. So these also refer to the marketing, the supply chain, the HR, the finance, the information system strategy, and all those kind of strategies. So let's see how the organization strategy is divided into. So we have the organization having its own corporate strategy, and out of their strategy is their business unit strategies, the regional strategies, and the functional strategies. So business units is how to compete successfully in a particular market. The regional one is which are concerned with the achieving corporate or the business strategies, and how to incorporate how the corporate and the business units will also operationalize in different areas. Okay, that is the functional areas, whether the logistics, the marketing, and all those areas. Okay, so the question now we ask ourselves is, where then does e-business strategy fit? Where do we fit, or where do we fix e-business strategy? That is our question for answer. So according to Michael Porter on the internet, he says the key question is not whether to deploy the internet technology, but rather companies have no choice if they really want to stay competitive. Companies have no choice in today's world, in this 21st century. Companies have no choice if they really want to stay competitive. But how do they have to deploy information system, or how do they have to deploy the e-business strategy? So the question we need to first of all ask ourselves is, what is e-business strategy? And where does e-business strategy fit? So to some organization, e-business is still not considered as a strategic path, hence they do not make provision for it. Some still don't care about e-business and what it has to offer to organizations and how it can help them be more competitive in the competitive market. So for different organizations, e-business is placed at different level. Some place it at the corporate level, some place at the business level, some place at the functional level. So research has, however, proven that a successful company places e-business with corporate strategy development. So what is e-business strategy? It is defined as the approach by which applications of internal and external electronic communication can support and influence corporate strategy. How application of internal and external electronic communications, okay, the communications, the devices, the systems, how we can deploy them to support and influence the overall corporate strategy. So we have the corporate strategy over here, and it's incorporated into the e-business strategy. Okay, so out of the e-business strategy, we give birth to the supply chain management strategy, the information system strategy, the marketing or the customer relation management strategy. So that is how the whole thing looks like. So we'll be taking our time to go deeper into this very diagram as we move along, how organizations incorporate these strategies into their various systems. So what happens where there is no e-business strategy? If an organization refuses to have an e-business strategy, what are some of the issues that are likely to happen? Number one, they will miss a lot of opportunities for additional sales on the sell side and more efficient purchasing on the buy side. So this is where the world is going. So if you miss this opportunity, you miss a lot of sales. Number two, lot of other online revenue sources. Okay, lots of other online revenue sources. If you remember in our unit 3, when we look at the revenue models, we talked about the pay-per-view, the click, the cost per click, the cost per thousand, and all those kind of revenue models that organization can use to make a lot of money out there. So if an organization decide not to take advantage of this, then they'll lose out of the online revenue sources. The next one, they also fall behind competitors who are delivering online services. So if you sit down waiting for people, or you sit down, like I just showed you in our previous unit, how a company like Francophones, okay, a company like Francophones uses technology to sell their mobile phones online. So the question is, there are other mobile phone sellers in town, in Ghana here, all over the country, but yet when it's time for them to close, they have closed. Nobody knows what they have in store. But if you can see over here, Francophones having their website, having all the various products and services that they can offer. Customers can still make purchase of some of their products, even when they have officially closed from their shops, because they permit the payment with credit cards and other things. And by the next morning, when they wake up in the next morning, there will be orders which they will need to fulfill, or they need to fill those orders to the customers. All right. So we are saying that as soon as you do that, you fall behind the competition to those who are delivering online services. Then also poor customer experience from poorly integrated channels. Okay. If you don't put it well, customers experience, when customers you don't give them a good experience about the online strategy, their experience will, if they have any poor experience, it will affect their future usage of your online system. So if there is no e-business, customers will also have an issue. Okay, having no sense of direction with respect to technological advancements, looking at how technology is changing the direction of the world today. If you have no experience, what it means is that you have no sense of direction with respect to technological advancement. And there's also a lot of competitive advantage within the business world. You lose your competitive advantage within the business world. Then what will be the implication of poor e-business strategy? So the first one, we looked at what happens where there is no e-business strategy. So now the question is, what if we have a strategy, but the strategy is very poor? Number one, at the same time, we miss a lot of opportunity from lack of evaluation of opportunities and insufficient resources or e-business initiative. This will result in competitors gaining advantage over us. Okay, so mixing opportunities for lack of evaluation of opportunities and insufficient resources, and that will make sure the competitors, those who are competing within the same markets, will take advantage over us. Then inappropriate direction of e-business strategy, that is poorly defined objective with wrong emphasis on buy side, sell side, or internal processes support. So that also becomes one of the biggest problems, inappropriate direction of e-business. Then if we have a poor e-business strategy, it will also create limited integration of e-business at a technical level, resulting in silos of information. That is, each department begins to keep their own records or their own data without collecting it into a single database where all of you can share similar information. So if you don't have a proper e-business strategy, it can create silos of information in different systems. Then also there will be a resource wastage through duplication of e-business development in different functions and limited sharing of best practices. Okay, so if we have poor strategy, it will create wastage in the system because there will be a duplication of information in functions within the system. Let's look at some of the electronic channels strategies. An important aspect of e-business strategy is that they create new electronic channel strategies. What are e-channel strategies? It defines how a company should set specific objectives, number one, and develop specific strategies for communicating with its customers. So currently, if you go to platforms like Jumia, okay, you could go to platforms like Jumia.com, for instance. They have a platform where you can even do a live chat, okay? They have set an AI system and an online robot system that responds to most of the questions that ideally you might want to ask the customer service, okay? So you go to live chat and it opens the live chat, you fill in your name, your details, and other things. You start the chat, and the robot will begin to communicate with you. So this one you are seeing over here, hello, Caleb, you are up next, connecting. Then it connects me to somebody. The person, hello, I am Jumia Robot, your virtual assistant. I'm here to help you. Please select from clicking. So I want to track my order. I want to cancel my order. I have another issue. I want to return an item. I need help to place an order. So all these are basic questions customers will ask. So they have created this kind of system to respond to customers, and there's no human being sitting in front of this to do it. So we are saying that the e-channel define how a company set up specific objectives and develops specific strategies for communicating with its customers and partners through electronic media such as the internet, email, and wireless media. Multi-channel e-business strategy. This defines how different marketing and supply chain channels should be integrated and support each other to drive e-business. So both marketing and supply chain channels can be merged together to integrate and support each other to drive e-business or business efficiency effectively. So that is why that's how we call it the multi-channel, because from different fields, from the marketing field, from the supply chain field, merging them together to help you effectively support your business. Okay, so when we continue, we are also saying that every strategy is developed through a model. There are countless number of models that enables organization to develop. There are certain processes that enables organization to model or to create their own business models. So a strategic process model is a framework for approaching strategy development. And we are saying that it provides a logical sequence that follows to ensure inclusion of all key activities of e-business strategy development. So many process models have been developed for implementing business strategies, which can be adapted by e-business. So there are a lot of them, and we are going to stay with one over here. So the first, according to Chaffey has a 4-stage phases. Okay, Chaffey described a generic strategic process model made up of 4 phases. Number 1, the strategic analysis phase, which deals with the external environment and internal environment. Then we have the strategic objectives. Then we have the strategic definition, and we have the strategic implementation. So we'll take our time and look at all these areas one by one to understand what they all stand for. So looking at how the flow is, okay? So from stage 1, we have the strategic analysis. And when we are strategically analyzing our system, we want to look at the external environment and our internal resources to see how it can help us to strategically plan for our e-business system. Then also the objective. What is our vision and our mission? Okay, and what will be the objectives of the organization? Then we look at the 3, which is the strategic definition. Talks about the options generation. How many options do we have? We will evaluate the option that is available to us. Then we'll select out of the options that are available. Then the last stage, which is the strategic implementation stage. Okay, that is the planning, the execution, and the control. And we are saying that each of these stages are iterative. That is, it goes back and forth. As and when we realize that we need to go back and make changes, we go. So it loops back and forth. Okay, so whilst you go from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3, you can come back to stage 2 again and make some changes and come back to stage 3 and stage 4. And when all is said and done, you can still look back to stage 1 to start the whole process all over again to be able to make sure the strategy that you will develop out of this particular flow will be very effective one. So let's take them one by one. The first stage, which is the strategic analysis stage. At this stage, what happens over there? That is where there's a collection and review of information about an organization's internal and external resources and external marketplace factors in order to inform its strategy. That is why in our unit 1, we talked about the strategic agility of an organization. Okay, being quite flexible so that you can be able to change as and when the external markets demand certain things. Okay, so looking at what the market demands. So collection and review of information about the organization internal processes and the resources and the external marketplace factors in order to inform the strategy. So looking at what is currently prevailing within the market, the environment can determine or can help you decide what to do and what type of business strategy to employ. Then this involves one, internal resource and internal resources and processes of the company to assess its e-business capability. You need to review the internal resources of the organization and all the processes to be able to see if you are ready or you can to assess its e-business capability, if it can be used to implement e-business system. Then also immediate competitive environment, the micro environment, okay, including the customers' demand, their behavior, the competitors' activity, the suppliers, the partners and intermediaries. You need to review all these things to be able to help you to formulate your strategy. Then the wider environment, don't forget, we looked at this micro and the macro environment in our unit 2, okay? In the macro environment, we talk about the social environment that you find yourself in, the legal situation within that particular environment, the economic issue, the political terrain that governs the sharing of information and other things on the internet, and the technological factor that certain technologies that are permitted within that particular environment. In China, for instance, you realize that Facebook and other traditional social media sites are not permitted over there. So what is the political terrain within that particular environment, and what particular technology is allowed within the wider environment? Okay, so this is our first stage, which is our strategic phase, and we have looked at the external environment that we need to look at and our internal resources that we need to take a look at. So our external environment, we look at the social, the legal and ethical issue, the economic, the political, the technical. But the internal resources, we want to look at what kind of resources that we have internally. The portfolio analysis, we need to do SWOT analysis, which will be taking a deeper look at it as we move along in this particular unit. Then we'll look at the demand analysis and the competitors analysis. So let's look at the resources analysis. The review of technical or the physical and the human resources of an organization is how they are utilized in a business process. So before you can analyze yourself to see whether you can strategize or you can implement an e-business strategy, you need to look at one, the resources in terms of review your technological resources, your finance, because e-business deals with money, the human resources, the technical people that will build the system and operate the system, and how they will be utilized in the business process. So some of the resources that we can take a look at is they are the tangible and the intangible assets, which can be used in the value creation. The tangible ones include the IT infrastructure, which we just looked at in our previous units. That is the IT, the e-business infrastructure. The intangible resources like the company brands, the patents, the knowledge, and all those things. Then the next thing we need to look at is the capability. How capable are we? That represents the ability of a firm to use resources effectively. So you can have the infrastructure, you can have the human resources, you can have the technology and everything. But the question is, how capable are you to be able to use all these resources effectively to support value creation and include knowledge capital, management structures, and the processes? So how capable are you to use all these systems effectively? Then application portfolio, that is used to assess current information systems capability and also to inform future strategies. What information system do you have currently installed in the organization, and how capable are they to help inform your e-business strategy and also to inform your future strategies? Then organization and information system SWOT analysis. The SWOT analysis, we talk about the strengths, the weakness, the opportunities, and the threats, which we'll be looking at it into details as we move along. So it helps organizations to analyze the resources in terms of their strength and their weakness and match them against some of the threats that the organization is facing and some of the opportunities they can take advantage of within the business market. So when we talk about the SWOT analysis, as I said earlier on, the strength, what are the strengths of every organization? So those are the factors that provides for its success. Maybe it can be the reputation of the organization. So KNUST has a very wide reputation in terms of quality education, then the quality product that the organization is providing, and maybe in terms of costs, they might be the one with the lowest cost. So currently, if you can compare the prices of our distance program to that of other campuses, we might be having one of the lowest service within the system. So the strength of KNUST lies within its reputation, the quality of education we provide, and the costs as low as we can give to people out there. Then the weakness, those are the factors that disadvantage for the company. That is high cost producer, high employee turnover, and much competition that is coming from other institutions towards us. And what are some of the opportunities that are available to organization? Those factors that are outside the company's control. So opportunities, you don't have control over it, but they are in the area which you can capitalize on to be able to make profit for your organization. So one, a changing demographic profile, maybe changing where you operate and operating in a different market, competition closing plants, or e-business allowing for wider distribution of products, okay? Being able to sell to people far and near so that you're able to increase your distribution channel. Then the threats, those items outside the control of the company, and that may hinder it. Items such as loss of the land can be a problem, recession, increased competition, all these things are threats that are coming from the external environment. Demand analysis. Assessment of demand for e-commerce services among existing and potential customers. We need to assess what is the demand, because everything that we are doing, we are looking at how we can generate or we can have an e-business strategy that will be able to help the organizations to stay afloat or stay more competitive within the business world or within the business environment. So we need to assess the demand of e-commerce services. How many people are demanding for e-commerce services within the business environment among existing and potential customer segment. Then also we need to, the demand analysis is the key activity in producing an e-marketing plan, because by knowing how many people are demanding for e-services or the e-commerce services will help us to produce an e-marketing plan, which will feed into the e-business strategy, So we look at the competitive environment and we are saying that some of the competitive threats that can face an organization is threat of new e-commerce entrants. We'll be looking at the Michael Porter 5 forces of 5 forces. We'll be looking at them very soon. But the competitive threat, that's new e-commerce entrant, that is entrance of an internet pure play, an organization that is purely based on the internet, like the Jumia. So if you are like Melcom, or you are like China Mall, or you are like Game and the ShopRite and all those people waiting for customers to come to you and come and buy from you from your shop, then there are organizations that are dealing purely on the internet. You can't find them anywhere, like Jumia. Okay, there's no Jumia shop somewhere that you can go there and go and buy products. They operate purely on the internet. So they are a very big competitive threat to Melcom and all the other companies that are operating the brick and mortar. Then threat of new digital products, that is electronic version of magazines. So if you are there waiting, printing magazines, or news graphic or books for people to come and read. Now, it has gotten to a point where there is a new version of system where people want to consume an online version of information. That is why currently we are having this kind of online lectures, and students will be able to come here and consume the same information that they would have traveled from distances to come and consume this type of information. So threat of digital products are also an issue. So if you are an institution and you are waiting for students to always come to school and come and learn from you, then you'll be losing out, because some institutions will be like currently there are foreign institutions that are doing a lot of online admissions, and people are able to stay online and get their certificate without even going to those countries. Okay, they consume electronic versions of all these products that they produce for the people. Then a threat of new business model, new method of service delivery utilize the internet. So for instance, if you are within the music industry, okay, you are within the music industry and you are waiting for people to come and buy the CD or the cassette system or the DVD system or those things. Now, there's an online version of all these things. So for example, if you go to website like, let's say, if you go to site like Netflix, okay, if you go to site like Netflix and you log in, if you have a Netflix account and you log into Netflix, okay, I've already logged into my Netflix. You realize that all these things, previously, all these movies would have been on CD for us to go and buy. But currently, nobody needs to buy CD because there's an electronic version. There's an electronic version of all this information out there that can help you to be able to enjoy all these items as and when you need to enjoy them. All right. So the threat to the buy side sell side threats. If you want to still understand the sell side and the buy side e-commerce, please refer to our Unit 2 and Unit 3. So some of the threats: customer power and knowledge. Okay. Currently, if I go to Jumia and I search for a particular product, let's say men shoes, okay, the same type of shoe, you realize that, assuming this is the shoe that I want, you realize that different suppliers come with different prices. Okay, look at this shoe. Okay, somebody is selling it for 193 cedis to 339 cedis, and somebody is selling for 200 cedis. So based on this knowledge, customers can select what they want or what they really want to buy from the market. So customer power based on the knowledge they have within the market. Then the power of intermediaries, okay, they represent you in the market. So whatever they hold a lot of power within the market. Then the power of supplier at the buy side. If a supplier doesn't supply you, how will you be able to meet your demand? So the power of supplier, then the power of intermediaries within the buy side is also a very important thing. So the buy side threat, we look at the supplier, the intermediaries, and all of these threats affect the organization. Then from the sell side, we can also look at the intermediaries threats and the customer threats. Okay, that all affect the organization. But the major competitive threats comes from the new digital products, the new entrants, and the new business models that are within the market. So as we said earlier on, the customer power and knowledge, the use of internet to evaluate products and compare prices. So before they come to your site to come and buy from you, they know where the cheaper ones are sold. Okay. Then the power of intermediary, channel conflict results from disintermediation. Whilst you want to remove intermediaries, you create a lot of channel conflict among the various intermediaries. Then in the buy side, we are saying that the power of supplier, okay, it can be an opportunity for the buyer, okay. because if you're able to bargain very well with the supplier, we get a very good deal, and we are able to get good prices to sell to the market. Then the power of intermediary risk to include cost of integration. Okay, so this can also be a very big risk to the organization. Then let's look at Michael Porter 5 forces. Okay, according to Michael Porter, there are 5 main forces that affect an organization. Number 1, the bargaining power of customers. When customers are saying, if you want to sell an item for 5 cedis, and all the customers says they want to pay 2 cedis, you have no authority than to give it to them at what the customers are demanding for. Then the power of suppliers. Okay, if the supplier decide not to supply you, you are nobody, because they supply you to be able to produce or to sell. Then also threat of substitute. When people are producing similar products, okay, if you are selling bread and people are also producing the same type of bread and selling within the same market, or they can be selling, let's say you are selling bread and they are selling both fruits, okay, it's a substitute product. And if somebody don't get bread, the person will come for the substitute. So for instance, Milo and Bonvita, okay, Milo and Bonvita. Bonvita is a substitute for Milo. So if I go to the market to find a Milo to buy and I don't get, and I get Bonvita, I'm good to go. So the threat of some of these substitute. Then external rivalry between competitors, okay, can also be another threat. Then the threat of new entrants. People who are coming into a new market, they come with innovation, they come with price competition and other things. So those are also some of the forces you can reckon with. So if you get the slides, you can take your time and read some of the things that happens within all these stages. Okay, all these stages, you can look at it, the bargaining power of channels, the end users, and all those things. Then we look at the stage model of e-business development. The stage models are used to review how advanced a company is in its use of ICT resources to support its business processes. How advanced, okay, a company is in its use of information systems or information technology to support its business processes. So let's look at how Chaffey explained the stages. Level 0, that is a company having no website or presence on the internet. Then they have a basic website or a basic presence where people know that, okay, this company exists. Then they will have a simple or a static information website. So the website can be a very normal one with just information over there. Then second, they move on to the level 3, where the website will now be an interactive one, a simple, very interactive one. Then level 4 is an interactive site supporting transaction with users. So now people are able to come there, buy, sell, and other things on their website, like the Francophone website that I showed you earlier on. Okay, now it is no more just information. Now it's an interactive one that enables people to be able to buy directly from their websites. Then level 5, fully interactive site supporting the whole buying process. Okay, like the Jumia website. Now it's at level 5, that is fully interactive. Okay, supporting the whole buying and selling process. Okay, so this is a very simple site that is informational. So this one will be at level 2, where it will just be a simple static information website. Okay. Then we talk about the buy-side e-commerce stage. So the previous one we looked at is a sell-side e-commerce stage. Then the buy-side e-commerce stage, that one also starts with the company having no use of their web in procurement activities. So don't forget, the buy-side we said is the transaction between a purchasing organization and its supplier. So they don't have any web presence in procurement activity. And later on in level 2, they will review and selection of competing suppliers using intermediary web. So then when they move to level 3, they incorporate how they can order place electronically through the electronic data interchange system, or what we call the EDI. Then when they are able to move to level 4, orders placed electronically with integration of company's procurement system. So everything will be done on their electronic system, okay, procurement system. Then level 5, orders placed electronically with full integration of the company's procurement, manufacturing, planning, and stock control system using the internet. So we start with the phases of e-business development. And we are saying that companies started from phase 1 all the way to phase 5. And from 1996 all the way to 1999, when the influx of businesses when business began using internet as part of their business, adding value to their business, the budget for IT or e-business was between $5,000 to $500,000. Then from 1997 to 2000, the budget increased to $5 million. Then to 2003, increased to 50 million. And from 2000 till now, companies like eBay, Amazon, and all the others have a huge chunk of their budgets allocated to some of these e-business development and information technology that will help them to catch the market over there. So in the development phase, from the start, the basic of it, the pre-launch, when an organization wants to have a presence online, they will have, first of all, a static website, which is very small. Then later on, they will increase it to a dynamic website, site that begin to change, having certain images, flashes, and all those things. Then when they begin to grow web-enabled business operation, then they now incorporate an order entry or sales service via the network, then integration with production system and business customers, retail transaction. And when they are fully e-business organization, then we call it the next generation e-business, where everything is purely web-based, okay, like what Jumia currently is using. Stage number 2, the strategic or the objective or the strategic objective phase. At this phase, statement and communication of the organization's missions, visions, and objective. So every organization has its own mission statement, vision and mission statement, and the objective they intend to achieve. How do we define an organization vision and their mission? A company will be based on the manager's view of the future. So the one who established the company or the board who manages the organization, based on how they see the future and the relevance of the internet to their industry, will inform the type of vision and mission that they will create. So can the internet primarily complement the company's other channels, or will it replace the other channel? And the answer is it will depend. And what will it depend on? It will depend on how customers access the internet, how customer access to internet is high, or customer access to internet is high, or using the internet can offer a better value proposition for the customers, or products can be delivered over the internet, or product can be standardized, okay? So the question we ask ourselves is, can the internet primarily complement a company's other channel, or will it replace the other channels? And we are saying that it will depend on whether customer access to the internet is very high, the customer's access to internet is very high, or using the internet can offer maybe a better value proposition to the organization, or maybe products can be delivered over the internet, like soft products. Okay, soft product like software, music, videos, documents, or services. Okay, consulting services, consultancy service, like currently what I'm rendering through the internet. It's a service I'm rendering. Okay, so the same service that could have been delivered to you in classroom is being delivered to you on the online platform. So products can be standardized. Okay, so all these things will help the organization to be able to develop their mission and their vision within the organization. Five elements to the vision that support e-business. Number one, the question is the relevance. The company must understand the potential of the e-business to be to impact the business. How relevant is the e-business to your business? Number two, the change. The company must be prepared to revise its business models. So, are you prepared to do that? Then the value, the time frame for return must be determined so that stakeholders' value can be protected and increased. Like customer buys an item and maybe wants to return the item. So time frame for returns must be determined so that stakeholders like customers, their value can be protected and it can be increased. Then also the people. What are the competencies of these people? So the competencies must be acquired and developed to help achieve the vision. Okay, so people who will make the system work, you need to acquire them, you need to develop them, train them, so that whilst they are well trained and they're able to use the system, it helps you as the organization to be able to achieve your vision. According to the CEO, okay, the chief officer of Barclays, okay, I think that their name have changed to ABSA or so. He defines a vision as the vision of Barclays, and he says our objective, okay, is to use technology to develop an entirely new business model while transforming our internal structures to make us more efficient and effective. Any strategy that does not achieve both, that is efficiency and effectiveness, is fundamentally flawed. So everything that they are trying to do is to use technology and to also internally restructure their system to achieve more efficient and effectiveness in their operation. And anything that does not help them to achieve these two, efficiency and effectiveness, it is totally flawed. That is according to Mark Barrett. How can e-business create business value? Number one, you can create value by adding the value yourself. That is providing better quality products and services. The kind of services that you are providing, it must be a better quality product and a better service product. Then also the product must be at a reduced cost, making business processes more efficient. Okay. Then manage risk. Capture information can be used to manage the risk. Then also create new realities or novelties. That is, can be used to innovate and create new ways in which products and services can be developed. So using technology to develop innovative and create a new ways, okay, in which products and services can be developed, like currently, as I'm doing right now, using technology to develop a service, the teaching service, developing it so that students can also enjoy the lecture as and whenever they want. So our next step is our strategy definition stage, and where we look at the option, we generate options, we evaluate the various options, and we select out of the options. So how do we do that? There are 6 key e-business strategy decisions that we need to look at. So e-business channel priorities. Decision number 1, strategic the decision number one is e-business channel priority. So we are saying that there are 6 key strategies. So decision number one, strategic e-business or e-commerce alternative for companies should be selected according to the percentage of the target market who can be persuaded to migrate to use the e-channels. So getting the right mix of the brick and click, that is how many people want to deal with us online and how many people want to come to our premise, that is into our building, to come and buy from us. So getting the right mix will help you. Then also reaching the right customers using the right channels with the right message or offering at the right time. That is reaching the customers through the right channels, maybe through emails, through WhatsApp, or through other means that are very good to the customers. Emphasis should be on either a buy side or a sell side e-commerce, and it should either be an online channel or an offline channel. So at the brick and mortar, it's just about information. Then we have the brick and the click. That is a mixture of on and offline transaction based on customers. So online revenue contribution and change required. So whilst we move along and whilst we increase our online revenue, if you want to increase our online revenue, then there is a change that needs to be implemented. So from brick and mortar, I realize that our revenue is very low. Okay, but as soon as we combine the two, revenue begins to go up a bit. But as soon as we deal on the internet, revenue becomes very high because now we are reaching to a larger audience as compared to just staying in our corner and dealing only with those who walk into our premises to come and buy product or come and access our service. So number 2, organizational restructuring. That is, we need to decide how the companies should restructure in order to achieve priorities set for the e-business. That is, should the company restructure in order to achieve the priorities set for e-business? Should the company integrate new channels with the traditional ones, or should the company create new subsidiaries of the company? So organizational restructuring, are we supposed to integrate with a new channel, or are we supposed to, or with the, before we can achieve our e-business strategy, should the company integrate the new channel with the traditional one? That is, are we supposed to do both brick and click, or we should, the company should create a new subsidiary of the company? The choices are, if we are to do it, either we do an in-house division, or there should be an integration, or it should be a joint venture, or it should be a strategic partnership with other people, or it should be a spin-off. Restructuring to accommodate changes, decision strategy, in-house choice. If you are to do it in-house, restructuring to accommodate changes, emphasis. How is e-business focus achieved? Number 1, there should be new responsibilities. Should there be new teams? Should there be new steering groups? Should there be new profit centers? Should there be new cost centers? All these things are part of the structuring that we need to look at. Okay, so restructuring to accommodate change, emphasis. So how is e-business focus achieved? So it can be achieved either, are we going to achieve it by new responsibility that we are going to give out, or new teams, or the others? Decision number 3, or the third one, is the business, service, and revenue models. That is, we review, is a review of opportunity from new business and the revenue models. If you want to understand revenue model in details, please refer to Unit 3, where we talked about the revenue models and the various types of revenue models that are available to us as a business. So there is a need to review new opportunities or new revenue opportunities and competitor innovations, okay? How we can capitalize on certain innovations to be able to stay competitive within the business market. Then we need to describe methods of generating income for the organization online. So last time when we were doing the revenue model, I showed you something like Ghana Web. We come here to read news, okay? But the truth of the matter is that Ghana Web make good use of certain revenue models. So you see over here, they have put an ad, what do you call it? An advert here. They are also saying upload your ad, okay? They are saying upload your ad. So if you want to put your advert on their page, it comes with costs, okay? It comes with costs. So let me go to the homepage of Ghana Web and let's see, okay? You can, if you come to homepage, they have, okay, I think some of the adverts have been taken down, but previously, if you come here, you see a lot of adverts on their page. Let me see my job online and see how some of these adverts. Okay, so we come here to read news from my job online, and it comes along with a lot of adverts, okay? I think most of these sites have taken down most of their adverts panels or the widgets. Let me see. WAEC. Let's see. So this WAEC website, students will come over here to check their results. But now look at it. They have a section for advertisements. Okay. They have a section for advertisements. So you can, they are using this space to also make extra money. Okay. They are using this space to make extra money. Okay. So you can pay and put your adverts on their website, and it will help you to also sell your product and services. So describe methods of generating income for the organization online. So there are a lot of them. So if you want more, you can refer to the online revenue model, which is our unit 3. Then decision number 4, what is the marketplace restructuring? We looked at the marketplace and the market space channel. Okay, so kindly refer to our unit 4 where we delve deep into the marketplace structure system. So consider options created through disintermediation and reintermediation. So all these terms, that is the disintermediation is the removal of intermediary, and reintermediation is the creating of a new intermediary. So if we want to restructure the marketplace, are we going to do disintermediation, that is sell directly to the customers, or create an online intermediary, that is counter mediation, or partner with new online or existing intermediaries, or buy through new intermediaries, or are we going to do nothing? So all these options are available to us to choose from. Decision number 5, market and product development strategy. So should a company use technology to expand the scope of their business into new markets and products, or which of these should the company adapt? In terms of market penetration, using some of the digital channels can be used to sell more existing products into existing markets. Then also market development, online channels are used to sell into new markets. So Jumia, people from China are selling in Ghanaian markets like nobody's business. Product development, new digital products or services can be developed and deliverables through internet. There's also a diversification, that is new products are developed and sold into new markets. So all these things are possible. When we say, when there is a new market and there's an existing product, what we do is that there is a market development strategy. That is the use of internet for targeting new geographic markets and new customers. When there's an existing market and there's an existing product, there's what we call use the internet for market share growth, compete more effectively online customer loyalty improvement, migrate existing system, and all those. And also there's a diversification strategy, and there is a product development strategies. Then the last decision over here is the positioning and differentiation strategy. Positioning and differentiation strategy. That is, companies can position their products relative to the competitors according to 4 main variables. So they will try to also take the market from their competitors based on 5 main variables. Number 1, they can be doing it in terms of product quality. Okay, they can be doing it in terms of the quality of the products that they are offering. So number 1, product quality. Then the service quality they are providing. So to be able to take the market or position yourself and differentiate using the differentiation strategy, that is, you can be offering a higher quality product than your competitors or a higher quality service than your competitors. So product quality, service quality, then offering price that will be more competitive than your competitors. So as they are giving it for 10 cedis, you might be giving it for 8 or 7 cedis, and customers will run up to you in terms, even if you including having a very quality product and quality service. Then also fulfillment time. Maybe personally, one of the reasons why I don't like buying from markets like the Kiku and the AliExpress, Kiku and AliExpress. This is kiku.com. Okay. One of the reasons why I don't like buying from Kiku is that it takes a longer time before your product gets to you. Recently, I realized Kiku wants to have, they have people that are selling from the local market. So when you buy something that it's within the local market, they will ship it internally. They won't ship it from abroad. So to help them reduce the delivery time. Okay. So order fulfillment can be used as a way to reposition or differentiate your product from your competitors. Companies should be concerned with how the internet can help improve the performance of the above variables. So how can they use the internet to increase their product quality, their service quality, the price, and the the fulfillment time. So if they want to produce quality using the internet, that is, they should use product performance excellence. Then there's also what we call the price performance excellence, transaction excellence, and the relationship excellence. So having a good relationship with the people or fulfilling customers' demand in a very short time will help to increase the relationship between you and your customers. So the 4th stage is what we call the planning stage, the execution stage, and the control stage. The planning stage, the execution stage, and the control stage. So reasons for failed e-business. Number 1, inadequate situation analysis. People don't analyze the situation very well before entering into the e-business system. So the system will definitely fail. If you don't adequately analyze your situation and you just want to enter into an e-business strategy or implement an e-business strategy, what will happen is that it will fail. Then also, people have narrow or myopic objective setting. They don't even know why they are even implementing the e-business strategy. Then number 3, poor strategy definition, which we looked at some of the strategy, poor goals in our previous unit. Then poor implementation, poor timing error, knowing as and when to introduce it, lack of creativity. Everybody is doing the same thing, and you also come to do exactly the same thing. So there will not be any need of the customer switching from your competitors to your product. So when there's lack of creativity, it also makes your e-business strategy fail. Then over ambition, thinking that you can make the whole world within overnight, or you can make billions within overnight. That is over ambition, can also be a recipe for failed e-business strategy. So e-business strategy implementation success factors, some of the things that can make e-business strategy a success for small and medium scale enterprises. Number one, the type of content. So effective presentation of products and services. So if you go to Alias, if you go to Kiku, look at their interface, how they have arranged items, and compare it with that of Jumia. Okay, so the content, okay, that you produce or you provide, if you compare the same thing with AliExpress or Alibaba Express, you will realize that there are differences. This is AliExpress. Okay, let me go to AliExpress homepage. And you realize that it's the interface not too that similar, but not that similar. Okay, they have a different way of presenting their products out there. So effective presentation of products and services, convenience, usability of the site. When people come to the website to use your website, how simple is the site? How user-friendly is the site? Then control, ability to manage the processes. Then interaction, relationship building with the customers. Just like I showed you earlier on with the Jumia robot system, where customers are able to interact live with the robots. So interaction is very, very important. So interaction, relationship building with the customers. So questions that customers will want to ask, they can ask the robot and the robot will give them answer. Then community, ability to network with like-minded groups or individuals. So apart from they themselves buying from your site, they also have access to people who are also like-minded, and they can share information and share ideas as to how they are able to buy online. Then being price sensitive, okay? So price sensitivity, your product or service should be more sensitive to price within the competitive environment. Then also brand image, ability to build a credible brand, a credible brand name for your e-commerce. So currently, when somebody wants to buy something online, the first, personally, the first choice that comes into my mind, to me, the first choice that comes into my mind is Jumia, before I think of Kiku or I think of AliExpress and others, okay? Before I think of Kiku or AliExpress and the others. So building a brand image, the ability to be a credible brand name for e-commerce. E-business strategy implementation, the success for SMEs. Then the eighth one is the commitment. That is motivation for using the internet. How committed will the people be? Okay. What motivates them to use the internet? When they come to your site, what will bring them again? Partnership. That is, utilize partnership to leverage internet presence. That is, you can link up with other websites so that when some of your products, when people are looking for your product, like you can have a link with, let's say, My Job Online, Ghana Web, or other things, and you can display your advertisement on their site. So when somebody is looking for your products, they'll just click on a button and to link them back to you, and you can have that kind of partnership. Then also we have process improvement. That is, continuously improve your business processes so that you'll be able to have that kind of success that you are looking for. Integration, that is, ability to integrate underlying IT system with partners and for the business improvement. Very, very important. Then there should also be flexibility and speed. There should be collaboration and execution. Then the demand fulfillment, integration of supply chain, okay, to help demand fulfillment. When customers demand, how you fulfill their various demands. So this semester, when you do, when you were in third year, you did supply chain management, where you did demand and supply, okay, where you calculated using the, what do you call it? the various models to determine the future value, the future demand and the forecasted demand and all those kind of things. So all those things were to help you prepare you for this hour where demand fulfillment, okay, should be able to know how demand is and how to be able to meet those demand. And lastly, we want to look at the issues in e-business strategy. Are we supposed to be the first movers or we are supposed to be the followers? When we talk about the first movers, those are the innovators, okay? Innovators, those who invent, bring out new ideas. And the followers are those who follow when any technology is given out there. Each of these sides have their own advantages and disadvantages. They all have their advantage and disadvantage. If you are a first mover, okay, the advantage is that there's a chance to capture a large market before others will come in. So MTN, for instance, introduced MTN mobile money. By the time Vodafone and all the others joined the queue, MTN has already captured the mobile money market. And currently, without any iota of doubt, we can say that MTN has a larger mobile money customers than all the other telcos in Ghana. Then also, it will help you to establish a brand name. So when you talk about Momo, in Ghana here, when you hear about Momo, ideally, people's mindset is linked up to MTN, okay, mobile money service. They have created a brand name in terms of the mobile money services. Then also, you have exclusive strategic alliance. What are some of the disadvantages? Number one, cost of developing initiative is usually very high. If you are the first mover, anytime you are the one developing something for the first time, the first cost is very high because there will be research, there will be development, there will be a lot of iterative processes. You need to go back and forth before you have a very good and a solid system. But those who are following, as soon as the system becomes perfect, because you have already gone through all the stages, they just cash in on whatever you have developed. Then there's also a chance of failure is very high because when you are the first mover or you are in the innovative person, you don't have any precedents to look at. So there's a high level of failure, okay? There's a high level of failure. Then system must be obsolete as compared to a second wave arrival. By the time people will join the queue, maybe that technology is almost being obsolete and there's a new one coming in. So those who came in at first will be the one that will enjoy. No support services are available at the beginning because you are the first person to introduce it. So there are ups and downs of both sides, whether you are being you are the first mover or you are becoming the follower of the strategy. So this brings us to the end of this particular unit, and I want to thank you for your time. And if you have any question, you can contact me. You have my number. You can send me a message and I'll reply, or you can WhatsApp me on 0244 705757. If you are outside Ghana, you can just add the +233 to it to be able to reach out to me. So thank you very much for your time and hope to see you in another session. So if you have any question, you can drop your question in the comment section and I'll read it and I'll reply to you at the appropriate time. Thank you and have a wonderful time.